Redistricting Subcommittee for May 7th, 2022 is called to order at 9:03. We're going to do a roll call. Adrian Kissy. Constance Graves.
Here.
Dominic Mazza.
Here.
Donna Bullock.
Here.
Kashana Owens Cody.
Here.
Larry Malden.
Here.
Naseem Ramdani. Naseem.
We're getting messages. Okay.
Justine. Sam Mather.
Present.
Pretty Mather.
Here.
Marissa Zanfordino.
Here.
Jeff Weiss.
I'm here.
Okay, we're gonna take a few minutes to look at the minutes of the 16th and the 23rd. So if we could just take 2 minutes to do that.
I don't remember getting those minutes.
They were
I just sent them. You have to check your email.
I'm looking at my email now.
I just sent them. You should have two emails. One has the 16th and one has the 23rd. If you don't have them, Larry, I'll resend them.
Did you send them to my personal email? Or you
I sent them to the Albany County.
Oh, well, I'm not on that. I was looking at my personal email.
Okay, I will resend them to you. Anybody else that doesn't use the Albany County email and uses the personal?
I do, but in order to get to that, I'd have to go downstairs to my computer.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I'll resend them to you.
But I was looking on my phone for my personal email.
Got it.
Mhm.
Let's see.
Donna, did you say, you asked if anyone else used their Albany County email? I use it sometimes when I think about it.
Okay, Adrian, that was you, Adrian?
Yes.
Okay, hold on a second. All right, I'm sending the 23rd to you and Larry to your personal email.
Yes.
Could you send it to my personal email also, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Personal email while I'm doing this. I'm doing the 23rd first and then the 16th. Anybody else for personal email?
No, and I would just say that everybody really needs to be using their Albany County email, because if you are not, you are missing a lot of information. So it's important that everybody use the Albany County email and everybody stay current on their emails.
Yeah, I could go down and get on it, but
No, give me your
I mean, it's okay for now because we're just doing these minutes right now, but
normally I get on that, but I'm up here on my tablet. And
okay. Dominic, give me your personal email, please.
DFMAZZA.
I'm sorry, wait. I'm sorry, D
as in Dominic.
Uh-huh.
MAZZA @gmail.com.
Got it. @gmail. DFMAZZA@gmail.com.
Correct.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay, Adrian, what's yours, please? Adrian, your personal email?
Okay, team, Team, esteem,
Wait a minute, just a second. DFMAZE. Okay, they're telling me. Okay, wait a minute. Okay, team.
esteem, ESTEEM,
Mm-hmm.
YEP
YEP.
@gmail.com.
Okay. You know what? All right, tell me if you get them, because the I'm on the county email. It doesn't look like the addresses are in, but it doesn't look like they're accepting them. So just tell me if you get it. I'm hitting send down now. Okay, I think it did
Okay,
go to everybody.
So why don't we do this? We're gonna move approval of the minutes on the.
And I'll send the other set now.
We'll move it to the end of the meeting, and we'll continue with legal update and discussion.
So I can just give you a quick overview of the New York State situation. That yesterday, the state court held a public hearing seeking input on the congressional and state Senate maps. The next step in the process, on Tuesday, a hearing is being held in the same Steuben County Courthouse, where the judge is going to hear arguments on whether the state assembly lines ought to be invalidated for failure to comport with the state constitutional requirements, that the state commission failed to do its job, therefore the legislature couldn't step in and complete it. And then I think the judge could rule on that as early as Tuesday, which can throw the political calendar into further confusion. And then for the Senate and congressional plan, the special master will have his plan released on May 16th, followed by a deadline May 18th for comments to those plans. And then May 20th, the judge will finalize the release of congressional and Senate lines. In federal court in Albany, a judge is revisiting a 2012 decision that ordered the congressional primary to be held in June every 2 years to be able to comport with the Federal Military Overseas Voting Act requirements, because the judge's 2012 order said the date could only be changed by the legislature. The State Board of Elections has asked the judge to voluntarily allow the state to move that date per his order to August 23rd. And since that would not be a problem for the federal military overseas voting, no one foresees a problem, yet the Democratic congressional backed plaintiffs are seeking to intervene in that case, effective any day next week. In the Albany County front, I hope you all have had a chance to review Dr. Handley's work. Marie, I don't know if you've circulated the subsequent memo I sent you a few days ago, but in terms of definitions of what kinds of districts you need to draw up by law, Dr. Handley's report essentially maintains that 5 effective minority districts need to be created. Those districts do not necessarily have to be 50% plus Black voting age population, but each district is unique. We've got to make sure that each of the districts can effectively elect the minority community's preferred candidate. And those districts can include Black residents, Hispanic residents, and possibly Asian American residents, as long as all of the different racial groups vote cohesively. So in the event that we find that Black and Hispanic residents vote similarly, but Asian American voters don't, then we have to ask the question whether the Asian American vote would defeat that effort. So once we have draft plans that are pretty solid, what we'll then need to do is have Dr. Handley work with ArcBridge to run some reconstituted election results using recent elections up against the proposed districts to ensure that the minority community will still have the ability to elect preferred candidates. So do we have any questions based on what I've just said?
So my question is that she is still determining if the Asian community votes differently, or all the three minority communities are voting cohesively.
We won't know, well, until we see that. Right now, it is the election data for the Asian American vote is not very strong or sufficient to really know until we see what a draft map looks like, and then run the elections, run the map against past elections. And you would need to work with Dr. Hanley to develop the past election results so she can then format them into an analysis. But right now, what she's saying is that for all intents and purposes, the Black and Hispanic communities, vote cohesively. The Black voting record is pretty strong and convincing. No problem there. The Hispanic vote is weaker in terms of analyzing it, but because the Hispanic communities and the Black communities are adjacent, they're really in some of the same areas. That should not be a problem. The only issue develops as to whether we're adding a number of Asian American voters and whether they do not vote cohesively with Black and Hispanic voters. It's not complicated.
Sorry,
but we just have to get to the point where we're looking to make sure from Sam, from your perspective, that the districts that you're drawing are going to be effective. I think Lars Dahl has really made these very same points. He said a few days ago that the Asian vote should not be taken as necessarily cohesive with the Black and Asian American vote. So Sam really said the same, Lars said pretty much the same things that Lisa Handley and I are saying.
Yeah, so she's saying that we should have at least 5 minority-majority districts. And right now, the way that we have it on Plan A is we do have those 5, which are, Black majority, and we are not including that many Asian community in that. It's only in District 7 where we have a mix of all the minority races. That's the only district that, and based on the testimony we got in the last community meeting, we are looking at the new configurations that, once we receive them, and we'll see if we can make adjustments based on both the inputs that we have received so far.
Yeah, well, we're getting there, and I think that Lars Dahl's mapping and his insights are, pretty much on par with what I'm saying. It's also with what Judge Khan said, that it isn't the numbers that matter as much as the effectiveness. So a number could be 48%, could be 52%. It's effective ability to elect that matters, not a line in the sand 50% plus. See, the difference between, in definitions, a majority minority district is by definition 50% plus of a minority race. An effective minority district is one that will, in fact, elect the minority community's preferred candidate. Both of those kinds of districts can do that, but it's the effectiveness under the Federal Voting Rights Act that matters. You don't want to create a 52% Black district that won't elect the Black preferred candidate. But you want to create the district where it will be effective so that the Black community will elect its preferred candidate.
Yeah, so you know, the results of the past elections are a great indicator of that, but at the same time, there are several other factors that go into making a district effective. It also depends on the candidate, the one that is up for election. And, you know, so that is something that we have to consider. And I don't know how to do that part, but that is something which is also important to see how the voters vote.
Right. Yeah. This all goes into the same mix together. So,
Right.
you know, the key thing is for, you know, this subcommittee to move towards agreement on the best plan, work with Dr. Hanley. It'll take a few days for Dr. Hanley, you know, Sam and Priti to work together on this. But then, you know, we'll know as best we can that these are effective districts. Certainly when that plan is made public, Lars Dahl is going to weigh in. I think if he's on the same page that we are, not to say he's the expert, but so far we're on the same page. I think we're in good shape.
Okay.
So are you suggesting that this next review by Dr. Hanley would take place once we have what we deem to be a final map?
Well, I think it's best you think you have a final map or the best draft map. I mean, I think at the point where you are ready to submit a map to the public for review, and then if that passes sufficient muster to send it along to the full county commission, I think that's the point that she should weigh in.
Okay.
I'm trying to save on economies, on her time, and our budget.
Okay. I mean,
Okay.
that
I
makes
mean,
sense.
right now, we're really on the right track. We're pretty much not having any disagreements with Lars Dahl or any others. The only thing I caution about, and this is something I'd tell anybody, is that when maps are being presented to us, and you'll know Albany County local politics much better than I will, whether any of the presenters might have their own agendas, whether they're looking at presenting maps with a candidate in mind who they think can win that district. It just developed at the state level that there was a former state senator who was on the state commission that fell apart. But the Democrats began realizing that he might want to run for office himself. Well, the commission is gone now, but that very same former senator, former member of the state commission, is now running for a Senate district. So I'm saying that this not about any of you, but for the public that submits plans, if you know of their background or where they're coming from, just keep in the back of your mind, is this an objective fair district or is there some candidate in mind? That might not be a problem either, just be aware of it. Because our job is to create a plan without partisan politics playing in.
And that is why we put a lot of emphasis on the numbers, the way they are, and especially looking at the way the districts were drawn in the past. And also, big thing that we look at is the communities, how they are drawn, and the community input. So those are some of the factors we can look into. And yeah, I mean, you're right by saying that there could be some special interest groups who may want to, draw lines in certain ways. So we have to be careful about that.
And when we do have a public hearing on this, and of course, we've all said that once there's a map out there, people will begin to perk up and follow things and speak up. Whether we're having candidates come in, whether we're having candidate supporters come in. Yesterday's hearing had one congressman come in to testify, and compact, contiguous district in the country, please don't change it. Well, you know, he's a good congressman. It is a good district, but I would have recommended that he had community people talk about the district, not, you know, so self-serving. And he's a great congressman, not to be critical of him, but he came in there saying, I like my district, don't change it because I can win it.
Yeah, that's always there.
And that's what you would expect him to say.
Right, but I usually recommend don't have the politicians
Yes.
come in, talk about
Absolutely.
communities and why the communities matter. And when the state plan comes out, don't be surprised, but they may be great maps, but they might pair 2-3 incumbents together here and there because they're not taking partisan politics into account, and neither are we. So as soon as we come in and say, here's our map, and we end up without knowing, and we're not supposed to know either, putting 2 incumbents together, we might get some criticism. That's not the law, that's just politics.
Okay,
And just yeah, I'm sorry.
are you done?
Yeah, basically, yes, I'll hold there. I don't want to jump ahead 2 months.
Okay, so I just have 2 follow-ups. One, you were gonna look at school redistricting because
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I meant to tell you, there is no connection between the Albany school system and its districts and county legislative redistricting whatsoever. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, I did contact the president of the Albany Board of Education about that. She said there is no connection.
Okay, thank you for that. And also I sent you a copy of the executed contract.
How recently was that?
It was this morning.
Okay, so I haven't seen it, but thank you. So at least that's behind us now.
Okay. If there is nothing else, in terms of legal, we can move on to mapping.
For mapping, we revised the Plan A, and then we had the public hearing the other day where the only person we heard from was Lars Dahls, and he had some interesting points to look at and for us to look at. So he apparently has 3 plans that he has prepared and he has submitted. Once we get a hold of those plans, we are going to review them and then be able to come up with our draft Plan B, which we are going to discuss, and then move forward or whichever way. And one good point that he did bring was that we have neighborhoods, and the current districts, they divide the neighborhood. So we will definitely try to bring the neighborhoods together and see how we can do it better, because he had some real insights as being an Albany County resident. So we definitely want to take as much feedback as we can so that we can make effective minority districts.
So I can send you all, I looked for them on Friday. I didn't find them and I sent out an email. And so I got some information. I should be able to find them on in SharePoint now. There should be shape files for every map that has been submitted. So I can send those shape files to you because I really think we need to like really analyze the pros and cons of like the different maps. Because it's probably not like looking at a map and saying, oh, that's a great map. It might be pieces of this and pieces of that we consider. And so we really need to be in a place where we can analyze it. So if I will send you those shape files hopefully after this meeting, and then in our Wednesday mapping meeting at 6 o'clock, we can have more discussion. The presentation that you did at the public hearing, where you flushed out the data and you showed the different maps that showed where the population increases and declines were. Can you send that to me so I can send it to everybody? Thank you.
And one more thing, as you already know, that we have analyzed 5 maps that were received, and we had discussed it in the last meeting. So we have analyzed 5 maps, and then now we are waiting for 3 that Lars mentioned, and plus whatever maps which are out there. We did go and check the website, but did not find anything new there on the submission website.
Yeah, AppGeo sent me an email that I looked at this morning saying where they should be at. So I'll take another look and hopefully I'll be able to send them to y'all after this meeting. So there were a couple of previous presentations that y'all also did. Can you send me those as well?
Yeah, we can.
Does anybody have any mapping questions?
Well, I have one question and then I have one comment. First of all, okay, my mapping question is, we're getting close to the deadline to submit our proposed map to the county legislature. How much longer will we be accepting maps from the public? Is there a deadline on when we will no longer be accepting maps? Because right now we've already had 5, we got 3 more, so that's 8. So in my opinion, this gentleman could continue submitting maps up until we said we can no longer accept anymore.
What is the
Yeah, I don't think we've defined the date yet. The only date that's really defined is, well, actually we did, because to the Altamont Enterprise, we told them that at minimum we would accept maps through the month of May.
Okay.
But it wasn't like a drop dead end.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, the most concrete date that we have, which even there's flexibility in that, is that we be done by the end of June.
Well, that's when the Albany County Commission has to have their report in. We have to get our report into them before they can finish their report. And that would also include any recommendations we have around maps. So I would say that we should allow them at least a 2-week leeway between what we submit and what they have to finish. And then we need to go back 2 weeks before that for us. So I would say the end of May is pretty spot on.
So are we saying?
Absolutely,
Yeah, but
absolutely no.
We're going to meet the end of May though. We're probably.
Well, I was going to say absolutely no longer than the end of the first week of June, in terms of our report that we have to get ready.
And that's in prep too for their public hearing, correct?
Their next public hearing is May 26th, and then they have one on June 16th. So the expectation is by June 16th, there'll be a final map.
Okay.
That map will have had to be out to the public already, I would say.
I would agree with Donna that, we need to have enough room there. With the 16th of June being, my guess is that's the last public hearing, and then the maps will go to the county.
It may be the last and it may not. It depends on how the maps are gone.
I thought
June 30th, to have all of this done by the end of June. Yeah, it's a target, but if for some reason that target doesn't get hit, it will get pushed. I mean, because the public needs to have the opportunity to provide input on the final map. So it's gonna depend on how it plays out from here. I agree. I mean, we were gonna do most of our work in the month of May, so that no later than the second week of June, we would be in a position to have everything we needed to have to make the recommendation to the commission.
Question?
I thought that was the purpose of the June 16th public hearing, was to present the final map and receive comments regarding that at our joint June 16th public hearing.
Yeah, I think that is, but I'm just saying that can change.
See, if I can say something, Ray.
But shouldn't we be working towards? But shouldn't we be working towards that? I understand it might change, but shouldn't we be working towards a deadline?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's why I stacked up the community engagement the way it is. Like all next week is like, we should be getting feedback. I mean, we have events every day next week. So hopefully we're getting feedback, but then like we're supposed to bring all that back in. And then I didn't go after like one of the last weeks of May yet, because I wanted to see what our engagement was from this first map. But I would imagine we're going back out almost like full court press like we did with this week upcoming to show the final maps to get feedback.
So looking at the dates we have so far, I mean, next week, we could potentially have a map B, the second map based on the input we got from the last meeting. And that could be, you could discuss that in the next public hearing.
Yeah, not only the last meeting though, but the other submissions that we got as well, because we still have not fully considered those.
Can I ask a question? For Dr. Handley's planning purposes, I want to use her really one more time. And question is, should she plan to analyze a map before the May 26th hearing, or wait until before the June 16th hearing? Figure that I would want her to work with Sam and Pretty just to make sure the data is all aligned, and anything we're missing we will have. So I would want to give her a week's window, to be able to work, and want to let her know when that week will be.
It should be before the June 16th.
So I'll ask her to scope out sometime in the first 2 weeks of June. Yeah, and we won't need her again until then. Okay, good. Thank you.
Yeah. By the end of May, we will be having 3 plans that we can discuss.
Okay. We can have a discussion with her, but when it comes to actually having her do the analysis, what I want is a conversation between Sam, Pretty, myself, Dr. Handley, Marie, just similar to the call we had about a week ago, where we made sure we were all on the same page so she can finalize her work. Okay. That's good. Thank you.
All right. So I guess we will continue to accept maps from the public all the way up to the very end. Is that what I'm hearing?
I mean, definitely through the month of May.
All right.
We should put a deadline out there for end of May. Otherwise, based on our experience in other.
I don't really think it's going to be the end of May, because ACRC will still be engaged in some mapping. So, I mean, we can come up with a date, but that date is going to be like flexible.
It'll be a tentative date. I mean, it's not chiseled in stone. All right. Now, my other thing. Connie, myself, and Adrian, we attended the mapping meeting the other day with ACRC. We attended that meeting, and I don't know about Connie and Adrian, but basically, I just like to. They have another meeting coming. What, Sunday?
Sunday, yes.
Or is it today?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Sunday.
Okay, it was 3 of us attended the first meeting, and I believe 3 will attend the next meeting.
Sunday. Yeah.
Sunday.
Well, just,
No, there's a mapping meeting for ACRC Sunday evening at 8.
okay,
Right.
is that the one that 3 of our group will be attending?
I'm going, and I
Yeah.
think Marie's
I'm
going and
going,
Connie's
and
going. Yeah.
Kashana is gonna go, so yes.
All right, well, you all want to wait until you attend that, or you want to hear from Connie and myself and Adrian about what we thought about the meeting we attended?
Yeah,
You
if
can give us a heads up.
y'all
Okay.
have feedback, yes.
All right, basically, I don't know about Connie and Adrian, but basically, what I got out of that meeting was that they have put together their map for the whole county, for all 39 districts. And what they basically told us is that they did not do any changes to the map that we gave them for the MMDs. So they basically took the map that we gave for the MMDs with our proposed districts, and they worked around those districts. So they ran us through what we presented to them as our MMDs, and then from that point on, they proceeded to go and talk about the districts, the other districts.
Outside of the MMDs.
Right. And I really didn't have much to say because, as far as I'm concerned, as long as they didn't touch or mess with our proposed MMDs, how they decide the outside districts. I mean, I didn't. So we basically, once they did that, and they started talking about how they came up with, the outside districts. I kind of left that up to them. Like, okay, well, you work on those districts. If you feel those are the districts and those are the boundaries and the lines you want, it's not up to us to criticize or to give comments on those districts. So they went through all 39 districts, and they kind of gave an outline on, outside of our districts. They talked about each of their own districts and some of the concerns they had and how they had to wrestle with coming up with, these other districts. But I couldn't make any comments on it personally.
Neither could I. They made it very clear that they didn't do anything to affect any of the lines that were previously drawn for the MMDs. So it was a nice educational session, but it didn't really. The only thing they did say was if the MMD for some reason had to move their lines, then it would affect some of the lines that they drew. But until then, no, the MMDs remain the same.
Well, my
And it's
question,
possible for us to we'll do our own look just to make sure no MMDs have been upset from what we presented. But
not
if at any point anybody has input, because there's districts where you have familiarity, then we need to share that input.
well, not only that, but also make sure that they are following the guidelines, because what we present is what they will incorporate into their map. So our map will live or die based on their map. So it's not just not disturbing the MMDs that we create, but also that they have followed the guidelines that we are required to follow.
Yeah,
and we would be looking at things like neighborhoods, whether it's contiguous, whether they're keeping the 8,105 population, in their maps.
they went through all of that. They did.
Okay.
They went
Yeah,
through
they
that.
did.
Each district, they made sure that they informed us of the district population, and they made sure that they kept within the 2%.
Okay.
Yeah, each district, they did all of that.
Okay.
Analysis. Yep. They were very thorough about it.
They were.
Yeah, they were very thorough. So
Good.
So Connie, you had provided some feedback about meetings or something?
excuse me.
You had provided some feedback about meetings?
Uh,
Like MMD attendance at meetings?
uh-oh.
Didn't you say something? Didn't you reference something that Tom had said in the meeting or something?
Oh, he said
Oh,
that.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
We got a real big compliment.
Mhm.
Tom Klingon of the ACRC made a really good observation about the MMD subcommittee. And he verbalized it, saying that he was really impressed that a member or members of the MMD subcommittee had attended every ACRC meeting, and he was really impressed about it. He thought it was really an upfront thing that the committee did at some point. I guess the ACRC may or may not have been thinking that we would attend those meetings as regularly and consistently as we did, but he was really impressed that
Yes.
we have
Yeah.
made a representation at each and every one of those ACRC meetings.
He also said when this thing first started, he was a little concerned on how the two committees would work together. But after having worked with us, he's really think that we've come together and we've worked together and we've shared information and we've just been, pretty well as coming together as one, because there was some concerns whether that would happen. Why those concerns were there, I don't know, but so.
Okay, so
Mhm.
if there is nothing else on mapping, we will move to public meetings, hearings, community engagement.
Mhm.
So we just had our really first MMD public hearing. I thought it went really well. And I was very happy that we had public comment from Lars, even though, he was the only one to submit testimony. We just have to continue to keep doing what we're doing to try to get people engaged. And I mean, hopefully we will, throughout the month of May, begin to see some increased input. But does anybody have comments, feedback, anything they want to share on the public hearing, a lesson learned, something to do differently the next time? Does anybody have anything?
Yeah, I like the presentation that Pretty did. I'm gonna see if there's a way to cut, I'm gonna play around with the recording to see if, so that while we're at events this week, to see if we could present that piece where she goes over how we started, we're in terms of the mapping, because I think that would be good to present while we're out all this week. So I'm gonna see what I can do to cut and have that available for everybody this week. But I thought that was a very thorough, because I feel like every time Pretty you speak, I said even during my presentation that we learned something new. So I thought it was very people should be able to understand it, because I know that was one of the big things too, that we wanted to make sure it was clear and everybody can see themselves having input into the process. So I thought that was really good.
So Kashana, if there's anything that Pretty can do to help you compile that smaller piece, then definitely feel free to reach out to her.
Okay.
I would agree. I thought Sam and Pretty's presentation was very good. And and I like your idea, Kashana, in terms of trying to take, some clips or some sound bites from that. But yes, it was very thorough, easy to understand. And I think it would be helpful when we go out since we're doing these, small groups, that if we could have that clip, that would be great.
Mhm.
Yeah, because
Actually,
there are situations where we're going to be virtual and we would have the opportunity to share. Like, so for example, on May 26th, the NAACP, I have an email from them this morning basically saying if there's anything that we need to be able to present, to let them know. So we will have, in some cases, we will have opportunity to share. And I think the information that would really be interesting to them is the demographic changes and,
Mhm.
the increase in racial diversity that has happened in Albany County in the last 10 years.
And also we may have, we will probably, well, not probably, we will be in venues where we won't be able to connect virtually, but we could always play the clip, so that would be helpful as well for those settings.
Okay,
I have a question. Are there, or do we have any information on anyone that may have been joining us by Zoom? Were there any
well,
people?
if somebody joined us by Zoom, we would have seen them.
Mhm.
Okay.
You would have seen me.
We
Oh,
did.
well, yeah, that's right. We did catch a glimpse of you.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't look at the YouTube to see if there were any views of that, but if you look at YouTube, it'll tell you how many views there may have been. The one thing that I do want to get is some statistics on the level of traffic that we're getting on the website.
That would be helpful to know.
So I'll ask Jennifer Cross for that. So today after the meeting, so on Monday we have Howe Library. So today after the meeting, I want to go over to that district and walk around a little bit, hand out some information. So if anybody's available to do that for maybe an hour or so, send me an email, let me know.
Oh, great.
Marie, I'm going to need to leave. Is there anything else that I need to answer? Any questions?
I don't think so. I think we're good. Is
Okay,
everybody?
Marissa will be on and let me know of anything that might come up before you adjourn. So thanks all very much, and we'll be in touch. See you next week.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Marie, I just put in the chat that I can see the traffic on our YouTube channel. So our public hearing meeting that we had last week, we had 29 viewers.
Mhm.
And it looks like the public hearings overall are the ones that have the most views. Like the last one that we did joint had 49 viewers. So it looks like more people watch the from the YouTube side, watch the public hearings versus the individual meetings. Like there's numbers in the individual meetings, but it's not as high as the public hearings.
Yeah, and the
It's
YouTube,
still good
the
for
YouTube
Absolutely.
MMD.
recording
Yes.
also present
Mhm.
opportunity for us to refer people to YouTube for additional information.
Mhm. Yeah.
Marie, are we going to do the handouts at John Howell today? And are we also going to be at the Tulip Fest?
Oh yeah, that is today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Why
oh.
does it always like why is it always like a dreary, rainy like day when they
I
have
know.
the festival?
The sun is
like
trying to come
every
out over
week.
here.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Did you ever get,
But
did
yeah,
you
we
ever
should
hear from that person that you were
no, they
trying to
never
contact at the?
no, because both Kashana and
Yeah.
I reached out to them a few times and
Mhm.
they never got back to us.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should do that as well.
Unfortunately, I have two other events to do. I got a funeral today, so I won't be available today, but tomorrow I can be all day with you tomorrow, you know, at the Tulip
Mother's
Fest.
Day.
Well, yeah, but the Tulip Fest is 2 days. It's today and tomorrow.
Oh,
Right.
today. and tomorrow. Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even though it's Mother's Day, I'm just saying I'm not available today, but tomorrow I'm available all day, you know, to go
All
hand
right,
out.
Larry, so I'll give you a call
Okay.
and maybe we could hook
I'll
up.
meet you too, Larry. I mean, Marie.
Mhm.
All right.
Well,
And I'm gonna go to, oh, go ahead.
Anybody else that might want to hook up, just shoot me an email or a text or something.
so we still gonna try to do both.
Of
Yes,
course.
Now, that's my question. Are we still
yes,
trying to do the
yes,
Tulip?
and I have flyers.
Hmm.
So yeah, we need to try to have a presence everywhere that we can have a presence.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because I mean, like Kashana and I had shared, being out in the open
Mm-hmm.
and engaging in public, it it really works.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And especially in situations where we could set up easels and put the maps out because they definitely draw traffic
Mhm.
and questions. And so, yeah, we need to be as many places as we can be. So we have all of these events scheduled through the month of May. But if there's other stuff that come up, as we're out and about or things that people hear of, then we should try to be at those too, because it's not all 7 of us being at the same place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, does anybody know of any other, like, I know in the summer, sometimes there's, like, I don't want to say neighborhood block parties, but like Albany Community Partnership, for instance, is on my list. I got to reach out to them because their community block party is coming up, and they have the wellness fair, all kinds of things and resources for families. So I was like, oh, that's another place to have the maps up again. But if you know of any others that are coming up, let us know, or feel free to reach out to them, and we put those dates on the calendar too. But that's one that I saw. We just missed Trinity Alliance's their community baby shower. But I'm hoping we can see if there's any more that are in May, because I would say I'm more focused on May. I know there's a bunch, unfortunately, coming up in June, because Juneteenth is like right around the corner.
Mhm.
There's lots of events, but our timeline, the way that our timeline looks, like we can't necessarily bank on participating in those. So, but if you see any in May, definitely let myself, Adrian, Donna know. Like, we'll put them on the calendar.
Okay. It's the Juneteenth for the Art Center is Juneteenth is the 18th of June.
That's
Yep.
too
So
late.
it's past our, yeah,
Yes,
it's too late.
we're probably good, hopefully gonna be done
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So
or about to be done.
About to be.
Marie, what time you thinking of going out today?
Like right after this meeting.
Oh,
And I'm
okay.
gonna head to both of those libraries today. They both open at 12, but I'm gonna
Mhm.
go just assess like what's in there, and then send everybody notes. Does anybody need to review like their placements this week? Because I can even pop that up on the screen if that helps.
might-
Or
yeah, could you?
Yeah, that would be helpful.
okay.
Remind me of where I know I'm supposed to be at John Howell, and I'd have to go back. But yeah, let me know.
Okay, because we have a couple dates that came down. I do have to remove Albany Housing Authority from, if anybody signed up for those are canceled. And I'm gonna look to reschedule some other dates, working with them to give me some other locations.
Well, Kashana, was that the Townsend homes and?
Yes, yep, so they were
Okay, those
further
two.
in. They
Yeah.
were towards the end of the month, but yeah, we're gonna remove Townsend Apartments and Westview Senior Apartments. And then the other one, I think, was Creighton Story and Ida Yearbro Homes. We're gonna,
Adiabo.
Yep. Thank you.
Mhm.
We're gonna remove those ones too. So we're working with them to come up with neutral locations. Sorry about that. So Howe Library on Monday. Connie, you're signed up. Larry and Donna.
And that's from 5.
It's from 5 to 7.
Okay.
That's Monday.
And then on Tuesday, I have Connie, Marie, and Larry signed up for Delaware Library. And I'm gonna head over there today too, because they both open at 12.
All right, let me write this down right now because.
Oh, I can send this to you, like if, or do you want to, it should send you an alert, probably to your, whatever email you put inside of your sign up Genius. It's supposed to send you like a reminder. You'll probably get it. If you don't get it today, you'll probably get it tomorrow just as a reminder, but I'll also send this to you too.
Okay.
Okay,
And
that
then,
would be awesome, Kashana.
okay.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday is Green Tech. So we have Marie and Donna. And please, if you, I mean, there's still signups. Like I'm gonna go in and like put myself in here too. But there's still slots.
Okay.
And just because it's full, like doesn't mean you still can't show up. I just wanted to make sure we had a certain amount of people there to be able to talk to the community. And then Thursday, we're going back to Macedonia. So we have Nick, we have Warren from the commission, Marie and Donna signed up for that one.
Okay.
So what I have to do is work on some revisions for the following week, but the following week we're going to Arbor Hill, West Hill Library. And I have Connie, Warren, and Donna signed up for that. And that's on a Thursday. And then these dates are the ones that I'm going to be revising. And then the 26th, we have two or three events. We have the NAACP virtual meeting, we have the South End Night Market, but then there's also a public hearing. So depending on, I mean, it's the the redistricting commission. So we might be dividing across all meetings, but at least wanted to give you the full calendar. But every week when we meet, I'll just at least pull this up so that we know where we're going this week and who signed up for what.
Okay. Kashana, how do you, there was one just past Delaware Library, the next one going down.
Yep.
Green Tech.
Yep.
How do I have to go back into sign up
Yep.
Genius to add my name?
Yep.
I thought I did, but maybe I didn't.
You did for Delaware Library, but Green Tech you didn't.
Okay.
But you're on the Delaware Library one.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what's going on with North Albany Post?
I'm waiting. I just sent them another email in the middle of our meeting to follow up. But that's one I actually just sent them dates. I said, here are the dates I'm looking at because we have holes in our calendar. So I'm just waiting for them to respond. And if they don't respond by Monday or Tuesday, I'll just call them directly.
Okay.
Adrian, have you had any contact with them at all?
Excuse me, with
North Albany Post?
no, I didn't, but I can. I can also talk with Wanda Willingham. And because she's the one that mentioned that North Albany Post. So I'll talk to her today and then I'll get back to you guys.
Well, she mentioned it as a venue, a possible venue that we could use, right?
Right. And that would be the only, I think, place that they do have for North Albany. So that's why she mentioned that. So I'll call her right after I speak with you guys after the meeting.
That's right. Her daughter is the commander there.
Oh, yeah. Okay. See, I didn't know that.
Okay.
Thank you, Connie. I didn't know that.
Well, Adrian, what I'll do is send you the dates that I gave to them so that
Okay.
you can see if they can
Okay.
book one of those dates.
Sure.
But we really need to aggressively pursue it because right now we don't have any place in North Albany.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, at this point, has everybody had an opportunity to look at the minutes for the 16th and the 23rd?
I looked at
Yeah.
I looked at the
Yes.
23rd, and it's according to the 23rd. I think we approved the 16th.
We
Yeah,
did, but we didn't have any minutes.
Yeah, it was a mistake. It was only supposed
Yeah.
to be the 9th.
All right.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I looked at them.
So, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the 16th and the 23rd.
I
I make
moved.
a okay, go ahead.
You go ahead. All right.
I'll make a motion that the minutes from April 16th and April 23rd be approved as written.
Second.
The motion has been properly moved and seconded. Are there any questions?
I think on the 23rd, I got, wait a minute. We may want to go back and look at like the third paragraph or wherever. Let me see, legal discussion. Your graphics, art bridge, where there was some wording in it. I forget, but it was doubled.
What page?
You used the same wording twice.
What page on the minutes of the 23rd?
I'm not sure. That's what I'm looking for.
Under what,
Recently,
is it like section 3, section 4? It was on the mapping discussion, you said?
Yeah, it was under that art bridge. You talked about where the young lady was having problems getting the review art bridge, but it was just
It was just a typo?
Yeah, it was. Well, you used you used the same sentence twice. I'd have to go back and look at it.
Okay, I will correct them and
Yeah.
resubmit.
Yeah.
Okay, so Connie, may I make a friendly amendment to your motion?
I make a motion that
No, may I make a friendly amendment to your motion?
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay, so I would move that we accept the minutes of the April 16th meeting and the April 23rd meeting as amended.
Okay, I need a second.
Second.
Okay, so the motion has been properly moved and second. If there are not any questions, or are there any questions? If there are no questions, I call for the vote.
Aye.
On approval of the April 16th and April 23rd minutes as amended.
Aye.
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 The motion has passed. So it's 10:08 and I think we've gotten through the meat of our agenda. Is there anything else that anybody would like to discuss before we move on to the rest of our day?
I do, but
Okay, go ahead, Donna.
I had sent an email to Nasim and Justine last week, I think on the 29th, indicating that I would be taking over the minutes. I did not receive any minutes from last week's meeting, number one. Number two, I indicated that I wanted to meet with them, and I asked them to provide me with some times and some dates after their finals. I haven't received anything. So just if they could get back to me and respond to that email, that would be greatly appreciated.
Will do. I'll get in touch with you after
Okay.
this meeting.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. I was caught up in finals and wasn't really paying attention. Sorry about that.
Okay. Understood.
And Donna, just so you know, there's a contact list on SharePoint that has everybody's telephone numbers too. So if at any point you need to reach out and give them a call or text them, you can do that as well. Is there anything else? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion that the meeting be adjourned.
Just Donna, just real quickly, I did find it. Under the section that says legal discussion and update,
Okay.
you go down, and when you talk about Miss Hadley.
Which bullet point?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the second bullet point.
Yeah, it's the third, I believe. Legal discussion and update.
Right.
Okay, you go down, and you talk about Miss Hadley. And you says Dr. Hadley has experienced some difficult. You see what I'm saying? You said it twice. Just
right. Okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing I saw.
Okay.
Yeah,
correct.
I mean, it's nothing big. It doesn't change the minutes or anything. It's just that it was. I think we need to clear that up a little.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, I will correct that.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion that this meeting be adjourned.
A second.
It has been properly moved and second that the meeting be adjourned. If there is no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Bye.
The next time, don't stop the recording until after we vote.
I know, I hit the button too quick.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, Marie, let me know what time tomorrow. I'm not available today, but